Hi, today I'm going to do a bit of art. I've got a piece of paper, but it's digital art. I'm choosing to use digital art because actually it's easier for me to record it rather than me trying to draw and hold a camera. So I'm going to give it a go. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have a sketch of a Viking ship, and I'm going to actually have a go at sketching it using pencil. Okay, the first job I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make that full screen. I'm now going to actually roughly sketch out a line using my digital pencil, and so I can see where half that is. Now the reason why I've actually done that on my piece of paper is because actually I'm going to actually draw two curves now, and the two curves are really separated by that horizontal line, the one going across there, and the vertical line going up and down, so that's going to be my mast on my ship. My first line I'm going to make is going to be a curve. I'm just using pencil. I'm going to curve round, and that's going to be my first mark. That's going to be the back of my boat. Now let me think. I'm going to actually have some waves going across. So across the bottom of the page here, I'm just going to draw some curved lines to symbolize the waves. Okay, just gives me a kind of actually horizontal line to actually work from. Now my second curve is going to be almost like an S shape. Okay, now at the minute they're just two lines. Now I'm going to actually make it into a ship, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually draw the top of the hull going across here, and it's going to then curve up to make the front of the boat there, and curve back to make the rear. So we'll give that a go. So I'm going to actually start from the line which actually I just drew there, curve round. Don't worry if your line's actually a bit wobbly, because you can always go over it with the rubber. Okay, that I'm just thinking you could actually make that into your own dragon head, or you could actually keep it as a curve or as a serpent, whatever you wish to do. Okay, now I'm going to actually use this line here, and I'm going to actually make that more solid. I'll go over that later on, but I think I'm going to actually sketch that in there, and that's going to be my mast. Now across my mast, now Viking boats would have had a square mast, and that square mast would have held sailcloth. Now your sailcloth would have actually been great when you was actually trying to cover great distances, which they did do, but they were no use when the water was quiet. So they would have had oars as well, and you would have had a row of oar holes, rowlocks, across the top there. Quite often you would have seen that the Vikings would have stored their shields there, but we're not sure whether that's just from the movies or whether we've actually got evidence of that. Right, okay, now my square, I'm not going to actually have a square line going up and down. I'm going to choose to have it bowing out to show that there's a bit of wind in there. So I'm going to have a curved line, and I'll put a curved line on the other side. Okay. I'm not happy that this is all white, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually draw lines which curve alongside them, and I'm going to have a stripy sail. I'm not worrying about the fact that I've got the other lines behind those reference lines. What I'll do is I'll rub those out in a second, and I'll clean up the whole picture. Okay, so I've got my bow and my stern. I've got now my sail in there. I've got mast in there. Right. At the minute, it looks very flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put some detail on the boat. Now I'm going to put some lines, curved lines across the body of the boat. Now these curved lines represent the boats made from panels. Now this type of ship would have been called clinker built, and it meant that it was built with a frame, and the frame was overlapped with panels of wood, and those overlapped each other. Now the ship would not have been watertight. There would have been water would have gone in between here. To stop it sinking, then they had to actually fill those holes, and to do that they would actually either fill it by using tar, which occurred naturally, or they would actually take rags and stuff it in there and make it waterproof by actually filling it with tightly packed rags. Or they even used wool, and they'd actually have the wool stuffed really tightly in between the gaps in the planks. And the wool was really good because it actually has an oily substance called lanolin, which would have actually caused it to be watertight. So that's clinker built. Right, okay, I'm just going to actually change my tool in this package. Okay, just going to change the tool. I'm going to choose a rubber, and I'm just going to rub out my guidelines. I'm not too fussed about that they're all going, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour in over the top of it. Okay, right. Having done that, I'm going to actually, I've got some red selected there already, so what I'm going to do for the red is I'm going to actually put red stripes in here. If you're using colour pencils, just take your time, follow the line of the pencil line, and your lines can be short, and just go over them. You can take your time much more than I am, so you just fill that in your own time. At any time in this video, just stop and pause the video and then do your artwork. Okay. You could always actually do a screenshot, or actually just freeze the video and you can actually copy the outlines. But if you actually start off with the S shapes like I did, and then do the ones to actually create the hull, it should be just a case of practicing. Okay, right, I'm using a pencil to actually fill this in, although it's a digital pencil, but you can actually colour it in any way you like. You could, I'm going to actually change my tool now. I'm just going to actually change the colour to a brown, and on the hull of the boat, that's the body of the boat, I'm going to actually choose to actually use short lines, because I want to try and actually not fill it in with a block colour. I'm going to try and fill it in using short strokes, try and actually copy the effect of that natural wood grain. I don't mind if I actually go over the top of the black lines which I had for the clinker, and at some points in between these, what you could do is just put dark splodges to show knots. A knot happens in a tree where a branch comes from it, And if ever you look at wood grain, you quite often get these knots and the lines go around them. Okay. Right, well I think I'm going to actually end my video here because it will take some time to actually complete this. I'd like you to actually have a go at doing this yourself. It'd be lovely to see some of the designs and see your photos of your work. And by all means do one exactly the same, or you can actually adapt it so you've got a dragon boat figurehead. Okay, alright, have fun, take your time. Once you've done that, you can actually either do a seascape, or you can do a horizon on the background. You can change. You can actually rather than just having waves up there, you can actually have the shoreline there. You could actually perhaps have Lindisfarne Castle in the background. You could choose to actually do whatever you wish. You can actually put the sun in there. You can put some clouds in the sky. You can make your sea look as though it's moving by using different shades of blue. But I think it's going to be up to you to decide how you actually turn this into a proper picture of Viking ships. You can even put silhouetted figures on board your ship. You can even draw shields on the side. But drawing the boat is a good start. Okay, have fun.